Breaking news, AEW has terminated its contract with CM Punk, better known as Phil Brooks. About an hour ago on Twitter, AEW's official account released a statement saying that they've terminated the wrestler and employment agreement between Phil Brooks, aka CM Punk, and has caused immediate termination. Also been confirmed by Tony Khan, the CEO, General Manager and Head of Creative. The termination follows a week-long investigation of an incident occurred backstage at AEW All In London on Sunday the 27th of August. Following the incident at All In, the committee has come to an agreement and recommendation to Tony Khan to terminate CM Punk's contract. Tony Khan has also released a statement saying that the following statement that he released says, "Phil played an important role within AEW and I thank him for all his contributions. The termination of his AEW contract with cause is ultimately his decision." So no one else made this decision, just him. Of course, I wish I didn't have to share this news, which may come to a disappointment to many of our fans. Yeah, which I'll get into afterwards. I finish this statement, but I've got points on that. Nevertheless, I am making this decision in the best interest of many amazing people who make AEW possible every week. Our talent, staff, venue operators, and many other wholesome efforts are unsung but endlessly to bring our fans great shows on television and at arenas and stadiums throughout the world. So that was his statement on the whole incident. So Punk's been fired. First off, I just found out about this literally about half an hour ago. I was literally uploading my video of my predictions for WWE Payback, which is uploaded now, so please go and check that out. Needless plug aside. And yeah, wasn't expecting this, but I can't say I'm not surprised. This is probably something that should have happened. Definitely should have happened sooner than later because of everything's going on. Punk's put Tony into a very difficult made him make a difficult decision. Obviously, backed him into a corner. This is the third time now he's had a backstage altercation. Obviously, Brawl Out is the big one from last year, and then we got Brawl In from last week with Perry, which has obviously led to his termination from the company. But also there was, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, there was an altercation with Bobby Fish not long into Punk's initial run with the company when he first joined, I am a big CM Punk fan, always have been, and obviously this is a very shocking and a bit disappointing news, and I'm very sad because we don't get to see CM Punk on AEW anymore. But at the same time, it's kind of a relief because it was getting very tiresome and draining on both us as fans, and I can't believe how draining and frustrated it must have been for the talent and people working at AEW having to deal with all these issues week after week with Punk. Obviously, they pretty much made a whole new show just for CM Punk, just to keep him away from people he didn't like, aka the Elite. And then that didn't work because he was allegedly banning people from tapings of Collision, and now has just basically led to his termination. Uh, yeah, obviously, not knowing last week that I would also be seeing his final match at All In. But besides that, I've personally seen him now 3 times. Once down at Butlins back in 2008, I want to say. It was my first ever wrestling show. And he was on there. Also, I can't remember who he was facing, but I vaguely think it was like Randy Orton. Around that, I think it was just around that time after he lost the World Heavyweight Championship before going into the Championship Scramble match. So that was the first time I saw him. The second time was in November 2013, which was about 2 months before he left WWE at the after the Royal Rumble 2014 and that. And now this, it's quite a shocking situation. I saw his last match last week with Samoa Joe. Didn't know it was his last one, but it was a great match. Obviously, there's no news yet on where he's going next. There's obviously going to be speculation and talk that he could go to WWE. I'm not going to get into that on this video, but that is a conversation for another time. Obviously, there was that report earlier this year that before he returned to AEW after his injury, Punk was at a live Raw backstage where he got asked to leave the building, but before he did, he spoke to a load of talent, and there was that rumour that him and Triple H had a conversation which could lead to future conversations and potentially a return to WWE, not on Fox this time. But the problem is, if you're WWE, do you run the risk of him and that being toxic, like what happened in AEW and that? So, yeah. And with everything that's happened, and obviously now this looks to be the official end of CM Punk in AEW, I will look, I'm not sure when it'll be, but I will look at doing a retrospect of CM Punk's AEW career. The 2 years that he's been in AEW, which for the most part only really had half a year in it before injuries, suspensions, and everything happened. But that is a time for another video. But I just want to leave you on one of my favourite Punk quotes of all time from his WWE DVD. He doesn't burn bridges, he blows them up. Okay, and that's it. And goodbye.